Yes, they do.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Unclick podcast with Dakota Roche. This
Back
is only your
again.
second time?
It's my second time.
All right,
yeah.
welcome back, dude.
It's been break down
Yeah,
the name
no,
a little
yeah,
bit if
that's
that's cool. Yeah. So when I found out it was going to be a skate high and a slip on, I was like, oh, that's really cool. It's like low and high, you know? And it's like, I think about it as it relates to like spot searching. You know what I'm saying? That's one analogy. It's like you're searching low and high. You know what I'm saying? You're like, oh, I'm looking up at roofs, but also looking down for ledges and rails. But it's like, also it kind of represents like the patterns that you go through with filming. It's like sometimes you're like, dude, I'm on cloud 9. I'm like, things are working. I'm getting tricks. And then other times it's like, dude, I've hit the ground 15 times in the last week and I'm in so much pain and I'm so mentally drained from this. So it's like kind of, I guess like a homage to like the process of filming a video part.
Yeah.
So,
So 1 year. 1 year in the making?
for
Year and a half?
14 months.
14
Yep.
months, okay.
Yeah.
And I think we should have audio in here somewhere.
When I heard 14 months and like a DAC part, I was just like, okay, this is going to be good. Because like you said, sometimes, you know, you get pushed, you have to squeeze something into 3 months or whatever, and you can get it out there. But like 14 months, if you're healthy enough, like...
Yeah, if you make it through that process and you're healthy, like for the 14 months, you're going to have something you're proud of, you know?
Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm trying to level out the audio here, but there's Super 8 doesn't have audio.
So are we watching Raw?
Yeah, this is all raw, no music. So how hard is it? I mean, I guess we can...
How hard is it doing that
Yeah,
trick?
sorry. Yeah, how hard
So
is
how
it?
hard
I was
is
going to say, how hard is it to choose a song? But
Fudger got
feel
4
like we
hours of
should-
sleep last night.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
I'm a little spacey. But
Music is like one of the hardest parts,
Yeah.
you know, because it's like you want the music to go well with the writing and you want it to complement the writing. You don't want it to be like, I think sometimes it's like, you know, using a like overly aggressive song works really well for some people and for some video parts, but other times it's like too hectic. And then other times you can go too mellow with the music, which makes it like too melodramatic where you're not understanding. So it's like finding a good balance of the two or whatever represents the writing the best, you know?
You almost like tire slid it.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like
Don't.
sometimes like
Sick.
I'll watch it after. I'm like, oh, my tire was sideways, but I was still on the
Yeah.
rail. It's crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah. But I tried a 180 out of this, but I couldn't do it. But I still really like the
Where's
alley
this-
fluoride and nose.
I love how you can go all over the world for the craziest spots, but then you still just like find something like that. And it's like, oh
dude.
yeah, I got a trick for that.
Storm,
Like,
dude, cellar doors for days. I love them.
beer clip. So this clip, obviously.
Yeah, I was pretty stoked. It's very rare that you find a
Yeah.
rail that you could roll into in the middle of grinding.
Yeah, dude. And shout out to Calvin for filming that.
Yeah,
clip
he
through
filmed
the
it
spot.
so sick. Dude,
Okay.
I didn't even realize till the end that they're like, granted, I know I'm not known for doing tailwhips and bar spins. I do them sometimes, but there's no tailwhips or bar spins in it either.
Yeah.
So as far as like,
Is there a big 180 to flat either?
yeah, there is.
There is. Yeah. Off the roof. Duh.
Yeah.
All right. Duh.
And you're following the Hoder podcast where he doesn't have pegs. He does 3 tricks. You know,
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
the sickest career.
Yeah,
You know, so
yeah.
it's like
Very true.
you do a lot of tricks compared to because you're doing so many tricks. They're just
It's weird, you know. It's like
they're not like no handers and bar spins and tail whips. They're like fucking switch ice nose manual.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a trick, dude.
no, it's funny, you know. It's like my perception of myself. It gets like, I don't know. Sometimes like whether it's like I'm comparing myself to what other people are doing and wondering if I'm like, I don't know, living up to what I should be doing. Sometimes that like makes me go like, oh shoot, like maybe I should be doing tailwhips and bar spins. But then I see this like when I'm done with the part and I'm like, it wouldn't make sense for those to be in there because this is who I am and this is how I like to ride. And sure, I like bar spins and tailwhips and I love watching other people do them. But as far as for my own program, it doesn't have to fit in all the time.
Yeah. And that's wisdom, you know, like that's being like resolute and like this is the way I ride bikes.
Yeah.
I love it. I hope you love it too. But
Exactly.
that's not the primary reason why
Exactly.
I do it like this. You
Yes.
know, so I think that's awesome, you know?
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I did this one first, which before I did the switch ice nose at Jaquan, and when I landed the switch ice nose at Jaquan and I hit the cone after, I was like, why are both my grind and nose tricks in downtown LA? I run into a cone after.
know.
You know,
Like,
honestly,
so
for a
funny.
second, I was like, that's probably his cone. I was
it
like,
is.
oh, it is.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. All right.
It's my cone. Yeah.
Is that just no cars parked there?
Oh yeah.
100%.
Nice.
Yeah. That's what I
so
thought.
legit.
Yeah. That's what I thought. I was like,
Oh,
hey, he probably
dude.
brings a cone so nobody parks
Damn,
there.
I want a cone.
Yeah.
You
And
have to-
is it
You
your
have to have a
is it your
cone.
barrier
That's part
too?
of this.
Is that your barrier?
No.
Oh.
Part of the
I
equipment.
found that barrier down the street and I
Oh,
just
okay.
rode up with it and I put it down. Yeah.
You need a Tacoma. You need a cone. You need bolt cutters.
Yeah. Here's this the DAK beginner kit.
Yeah.
No, it's
Yo.
tire on rail stuff. I don't do very much of it, so I was stoked on that line. Nollie
That's
feeble and then
crazy.
360 nose bonk thing.
I don't even. That's more your realm of how wild that is. I
That's
can
crazy.
appreciate, but
I always wanted to do one of those like nose bonk threes down a rail, but like I was always like, if you miss, it's real. It seems like it could go really
Yeah.
quickly. But I was like, I'll just give it a try.
It
'cause-
looked easy when you did it.
yeah, it wasn't a touch. It was a bonk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried to
It's
like
a
really
G-turn
hit it.
peg grind, but
Yeah.
you got your tire on the
Still
rail.
kind of is.
Still kind of is.
So obviously, I think I mentioned this. This is one of my favorite clips. I have a few of them, but just watching this tire.
Yeah, you mentioned this. earlier.
Watching this tire bounce on this rail and
Uh-huh.
like kind
Dunk.
of like
Yeah.
and kind of just like surviving its way up there.
Uh-huh.
I love it.
Whoa.
If you notice, like after I was really stoked on that
Yeah,
too, by the way.
yeah.
Thank you. But if you notice, the hardest part was I did that tire side to wall ride like 20 times before I got one that allowed me to keep going. Because watch my front wheel.
Oh yeah, it was
Watch
on there.
my
Oh,
peg goes underneath the bench.
Hold on, I gotta see.
Dude, you're crazy. You're like such a cutty street rider, but then you'll ice to gap a 20 stair. Like you have a crazy range of street riding because this is so cutty, dude.
Oh, I see. Right.
I would
Ooh,
never
I'm
even
under
look
the
at
bench.
this
Yeah,
spot,
yeah.
and you make it look so fun.
I ran into that bench like thank you, Dennis. But yeah, I ran into the bench like 50 times.
That
so.
I mean, that is fucking
Cuddy.
awesome. This is a nerdy question. Logistically, how do you keep track of your spots?
I just take photos of it, and then it's like when you
You have a
take a
spot
folder,
folder?
it geotags it.
God, I got a good DAC spot story.
Yeah, so it depends. So it depends on if I'm working on something in particular.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'll do like a spot folder for spots that I need to make it to for a certain part or for a certain project that I'm working on.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have folders that like I just forget to delete in my like, in my photos that'll just say like, native land 4, and it's like the last like 10 spots I wanted to go to finish the part or whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just do it like that, but also I'll do like a folder that says like new spots. So it's stuff that I found in the last 3 months, and I try to like refresh that so I
Okay.
remember like.
A little sip of espresso to foot plant tire slide.
Mm-hmm.
Second favorite clip.
Oh, I was really stoked on this. We had to work on that to get that one to work.
I love it.
So that's in Houston as well.
Is
we were
it?
riding around the campus there, and I was like, dude, these bike racks are so sick. And I was like, just doing the wally to grind and wallying back off the side. I'm like, dude, I love wally to grind. It's just like having a blast. I was like, oh, I wonder if you can do it to like hanger. But
Love it.
Copenhagen. So there's a lot of really fun. This is Copenhagen as well. There's a lot of this type of stuff. It's
Yeah.
like really fun size, which that was still really scary. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Like this was chilling. It took a lot of tries to balance it correctly, but this nose to hanger, it scared the heck out of me for some reason.
It's quick. It looks really quick.
It's also like kind of blind when you're going up to it. You can't really tell, but the wall's like that high. So when you're riding up to it, you're like, if I don't get a good nose, like, and I start dropping before I get to this rail, I'm going to like loop out or whatever. You guys, based on my original podcast, you know how my brain works. I see how bad things could go on every single trick that I try.
Yeah.
So
Has that improved? Has it improved?
I can't say it's improved. I'd say like my coping abilities have gotten better, but the problem itself, I'm basically like, I'm accepting that this is just a part of me and I just need to work with it. It's just like any other disability or anything else. It's like, what are you going to do? You're going to let it stop you from doing the things you love, or are you going to adapt and conquer, you know?
Okay.
So
the thing that I noticed about this was the lack of pedaling.
yeah.
So obviously pumping that cool swerve in, making sure you're keeping your speed.
It just,
How important is that? Like, is it? I assume at points you're like, yeah, I'm stopping because I could do this line if I took a little bitch crank or something like that. But
I think that like comes with like time or experience. It's like you start like, I guess hyper focusing isn't the word I'm looking for, but you start like looking at other ways to improve the way something looks. You know, it's like, okay, like I'm already like confident in like maybe the tricks that I'm doing in this line, but in order for it to look a little bit more seamless, maybe I don't need to pedal, or maybe I don't need to do like a unnecessarily like, you know, kick out, slow down, and then take like a half crank. You know, it's like, you know, because sometimes that happens. It's like slow down, speed up, slow down. It's like if you can get a line,
figure that shit out.
Yeah, if you can get a line where you can maintain it and don't have to do any of that, it just like looks like it's
clean.
Like it looks like dancing or something.
That's what I noticed. The smoothness of this.
I don't know. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get there. There we go. So swerve in, obviously. Again, no, I enjoy it. I appreciate that. I feel like you probably did the nose bonk 180 several times to make sure you carried as much speed as possible into the grind. Small little pump, and then just to get as much speed to do, and you know, somebody, I don't know who,
put some Band-Aids on the ledge.
Yeah, I can see
I don't
that.
know who did that.
But one of my favorite things is that like you do the wall ride, and then you could see you,
Spotman, dude.
You're like, did I go to the approved height?
I did look at that.
Very last thing. You're like, is it fucking high enough?
That's funny.
Wow, good eye.
Because I know
I've only watched this section like 2 times, but I was definitely looking at it in a like, what can we talk about type sense, you know?
You're absolutely right. I did look up to see if I went high enough.
Yeah.
Love that clip. One of my favorites.
I started pedaling at the wall, and I was like, dude, I need to go faster because like the distance from where you need to hop to where you get on the wall. So then the second time I went faster at the hangar, and I just went for it. And then the third time it was how I wanted it. So
Manhattan's hard.
It's tough, man.
Frustrating place to film.
Yeah. So many 6 spots, but you just can't
To
get
film
to
a part, though, it's a frustrating place.
Yeah.
More New York.
Some people probably highly disagree with that.
So sick.
This is Copenhagen.
Oh, this is Copenhagen.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cellar doors.
I found this spot when Jen and I were on our vacation portion of the trip.
Yeah.
She was at a store right down the street. I was like, oh, dude, that cellar door's sick.
That's pretty crazy. Going across the world to find a spot like that, you know, like that's only something you could do on one of these trips or like one of these projects where it's just you and a filmer.
Yeah.
You're doing 14 months. You're getting to go to different countries. Like that's where you get to do some cool shit like that.
It's exactly. It's like you could be more creative in those scenarios versus like a team trip or something. Yeah.
It's really cool.
Hefty 3. Love it.
Yeah. It's, you know,
It's kind of a quick one.
It's kind of, and it's like kind of like a hard 3. That's why I liked it, because I had to come from like this side to 3 the rail this way instead of coming from this side.
Yeah.
It's dope.
Spot is intimidating when you're standing up there too, man. It's like you don't see anything. You just see a fence and you're like, I'm going to die.
I love that clip.
Does it go into the second song after this?
Oh, there's one more clip. Snuck it in.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a 25, 30-foot drop.
Yeah, it was
like such a cool spot, though.
It's so cool. Yeah, so like I said, I had been seeing it pop up in some skate videos. I'm like, I have to find this, you know? And I'm not going to ask skaters for something like that. A new spot especially, it's like, you don't want to like be like, oh, I just saw you skated this spot, and I don't really know you, but like, do you think you can give me this? So I was like luckily able to get enough clues from watching videos to figure out where it was.
Yeah.
Not the same.
Wall ride drop Smith.
Oh yeah, I was hyped on that. That one took a lot of work, man, because that ledge that I was having to bump onto was like high enough to where I indoed a couple times. I got a bad bump but just indoed into the front of that thing. But
just powerhouse shit to me.
Yeah. Sounded like you snapped your axle.
It sounded like it, yeah. Cinnamon axles don't break though. Boom.
That's why I know. Yeah. Damn, I never realized how much you had a thread though.
Oh yeah, that was a threader, dude. I caught.
Is that your cone?
That's my cone.
Really?
Yeah, that's my cone. That's my sign.
You have a sign and you swear to God, that's really all your stuff.
Yes,
you got the sign. Dude,
bro. Okay, because See, this is a giant parking lot. This is a giant parking lot, but for whatever reason, every time we'd try and go to do this, there was one car parked right there. So I got there super early one morning, put it there, and then I went and rode, and then like by the time like Z and Calvin met up, we went there, and
lo and behold,
my sign was still there and no car was there.
Why do you leave the cone though while you're doing it? Because it's like just if in a run up you see somebody just pulls in and just
I didn't want anyone to try and park there.
Fair enough.
I even wrote like for what city I was in for this spot, which I'm not going to give away. I even wrote the phone number to the tow place on it, so like people knew it was serious. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Dead serious.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
This is why you got 11 shoes with Vans. You know what you're doing.
Yeah, dude. A few of the times
barely fit through there.
A few of the times my front wheel would hit the. That's why I'm kind of leaned over.
Yeah.
Because if my peg wasn't on all the way butted up against like the wheel or the dropout, my wheel would hit the other rail and it would pitch me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never knew how thread the needle that was.
Also, finding a wall ride to hanger setup is so damn hard for some reason.
Yeah, Justin Spree was like, that was the only wall ride hanger I've ever seen.
They're so hard to find.
He screamed it, and I was like, I think so.
Yeah.
They're so hard to find. Yeah.
Crazy.
I'm sure there's been other ones, but I was like, I can't think of one.
Another wall ride variation I was hyped on.
Yeah.
We stay the night, man. Let's have some more of those mezcals and Oscar Goss.
Don't tempt me with a good time.
Ooh, you're getting a Heineken right there, it looks like.
So
Calvin gave you a prize.
You said this is one of your favorite clips.
No.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's like you couldn't see that coming. You know, like from me watching it, I was like, "What the fuck?"
I didn't know it was coming.
What is that?
I didn't know it was coming. I was like, "Is this gonna work?" And I started like trying to pull across and get as close as I could. I was like, "I think I can," but the problem is, you always worry about when you do the hard way stuff, your back end's gonna hit before the front and pitch you back, which it did happen a few times. But I was really stoked when I was able to. Even when I roll away, you can tell I hit the other wall that I came from, and it like bounced me forward. I was like, I'm taking it, dude. I'm taking it.
You got lucky it didn't blow you off your bike.
See,
If you're going a little faster, you would have just lost the clip.
I said this somewhere else. I was like, you get at least 2 or 3 sketchy clips per video part, because then it makes people go, oh shit, he was not fucking, he was scared, or that was so hard that he's fucking taking that.
Oh, dude.
Because you know when somebody's like a perfectionist like Dak, if he's like, he hit that, it was like, dude, he was taking it. That was fucking
Sometimes the sketchiness adds flavor,
100%,
you know?
100%.
Like,
100%.
not all the time, but it's like, if you see like a part that's too polished, everything's landed too perfectly, you're like, it almost doesn't resonate as well. Mm-hmm. It's like there was no struggle involved in that becoming what it was. Yeah. But it's like when you have a situation where it's like you have a part and, 5 or 6 of the things, it's like you land and your front tire bounces when you land, or
hand blows off or something weird, it's I love those clips. Those are my favorite clips.
Me too.
That was crazy. Yeah, it's like a bike length of landing.
That was the other thing. It's like
it's very short.
Yeah. When you land, you don't have really the time that you need to set up for the second drop. You could tell it's like
you're 2 inches away from casing and an inch away from your front wheel coming off the end.
I mean, there's not much.
It is not the best landing.
It's funny when people if people comment on like casing a little bit, because think about the reality of looking down at your front wheel.
Well, and then look at it was like I slightly over rotated, so it's like I'm like, dude, I'm gonna run into this fence now. Like it was hectic. It was all around hectic. So. Yeah, it's not my favorite clip, but I'm like, it was just the scenario was so hectic.
I think that goes back to what we just said.
Yeah.
You get a couple of sketchy clips.
Yeah.
Like there's other circumstances that are at play. You're not just like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna redo that.
Yeah.
You know?
No, there was no opportunity to redo it. So yeah, I was really stoked on this.
Yeah, this is sick.
This combo of things.
The Wally up.
Yeah.
Like that's the shit that like, add
a little,
that makes a difference.
Yeah. Add a little something to it. It was actually lined up perfect because you could see the runway angles into it. It's not a straight angle. I'm like, oh, dude, it's like a Wally. Perfect.
Did you hurt the rail?
It just kept...
It kept bending down.
It kept bending down.
It sounds like Vegas.
That's L.A. That's an overlooked area of L.A.
It reminded me of Vegas for some reason, like the downtown area.
It does look like Vegas. You're right. Because look at how like... It's kind of
like
gritty. It totally does. The colors.
Yeah.
It's very like
downtown area.
It's very Southwest. Like and it was 105 that day.
That's why it looks like Vegas.
You don't have a long sleeve on,
bro. So
still got just one layer. Wow, yeah, that is hot.
I had to bondo the ledge that I was landing on because see how rounded it is and chunky.
I was gonna say, could that thing be any worse?
Watch where my peg lands. That right there, that's all bondoed. It's like this like bluish color bondo. You could see it in the second angle a little bit more, I think.
Oh yeah, I kind of see the tone.
Dude, it was so hot that day that the bondo it was drying before I could even mold it. So it was, dude, the bondo was almost worse than the ledge. It was like chunky and like soft and like it had hardened, but it was like all jagged. Yeah, the scariest part was like, I was like, dude, I can't pull off this wall at all because that thing is like, it was like this long to land on. Yeah. And if your front wheel goes over, you're gonna die.
God. And there was, I remember seeing the black rainbows. Was there more than one?
Yeah, I did it twice. I did it I did it very early on in filming for the video, and I knew I could do it better, so I did it better later.
That wall ride critique on himself.
No, see what really happened is he redid it so he was wearing the lows in the clip, right?
No. But yeah, I guess.
But I did have them.
That's crazy.
I don't know. I just wanted to do it better. This one took a lot of tries.
Seems like that
could see
would take
why.
a long time to figure out.
Ooh, I was hyped on this one too.
So good. I mean, what do you say, honestly? But like, it's seriously, it's like a combination of like.
Well, I knew I wanted to have like a nose manual up some stairs in my part because I've been messing with them, and I was like, oh my gosh, you could. Originally, when I was filming this line, I was just doing the nose up and then coming around, and I was gonna do like a hanger to Smith 180, but you can't really tell. But there's like kind of a lot of shit like where you land, so I was having a hard time doing the Smith 180 and not hitting things. So I was like, dude, Calvin, I was like, what if I do the nose up the stairs to manual to hanger to Smith? And I was like, that was like, in my mind, I was like, it seemed like it was out of my reach, but I started trying it and it worked within like, it wasn't even that many tries. It was like 15 or 20 tries.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So.
In the smoker section at the premiere, this one freaked a lot of people out. Just like the clip and this spot. Everyone's like, what the fuck is that spot?
Copenhagen came through again.
Dude, people were tripping on that.
Yeah, I was really hyped on that because like, you know, I've seen people do like wally to ices down ledges and stuff and on ledges, but I've never seen like full wall ride, like 2 tires up to a, because you never find ledges that are as tall as me in the beginning, which isn't that tall, by the way. Like... So I had to go there twice for that one. First time, it was, dude, we had an unusually...
This one's nice with it.
Yeah.
Thank you. We had an unusually warm summer in California. So some of the days that I was out filming, and sorry to Jeff Z and Calvin for dragging you out. First day we went here was over 100 degrees, and I tried it for 2 hours, and there's zero shade, as you can tell.
Yeah.
So empty
and you got a long sleeve and a beanie.
But that was the second time I went, because the first time I got too hot, I was overheating. Like I was like literally getting like physically ill. So I had to go back when it was a little bit cooler, as you can tell, long sleeve beanie.
Okay, later on.
Yeah. But yeah, I was stoked on that. It was, you know, it was hard because that runway sucked. It's like literally like coming around that corner and pedaling, getting as many cranks in as you can to get up to that was a pain. But
I think you made it look so good that it looks like it was like a park setup or something like that. Like literally looked like nonchalant. Like other than that pedal up, like the pedals up, like it just like it looks so good.
It's funny because like when I was rolling away, I still like was like surprised. I was like, "Oh, it's done! Like it's over. I don't have to do this anymore." Yeah, but so I did it twice, 2 different days when I did the hanger. The first day I didn't like the way I do it, so I went back, and as you can see, it's all wet. It was like right after rain, like crazy rain in California. I like had to go to 7-Eleven. I bought kitty litter. I had my like electric like.
Oh, I see it now.
Yeah,
I can see that it's
blower.
like the part you're landing is like dusty, and then the stairs in front.
I had to dry all that out, dude. Yeah.
Details.
It's my only San Diego County clip, bro.
What?
Yeah.
I knew that was in San Diego. Shit.
I had to ask for that spot, the out ledge. So Dane Berman ended up, professional skateboarder Dane Berman, a good friend of mine. He ended up tracking it down for me because I saw some skater. See, a skateboarder cut out that top rail.
Oh yeah, look at that.
So they like to do tricks over it. I guess. I think someone ollied it. Maybe someone else did something else. But I was like, dude. Originally, I was like, the wall ride would be sick over that, you know? And then I got the pin and I went there. I was like, dude, there's no way you can wall ride it. There's not enough room.
Yeah, it's too short.
It's so weird how our brains work. We ride so many spots that like I knew that was San Diego.
It looks like
For
it.
some reason. I don't know
there's
why.
always little cues.
I did not think it was LA.
Cues,
I didn't think it was anywhere. San Diego, like that's how they build shit for some reason.
Yeah. Yeah, so, and then I was like, felt like I had to hustle to get here to do it because I saw they were doing a bunch of construction.
Early to get over that.
Dude.
That first rail?
The first time.
Oh, yeah, you did every inch of it.
Yeah, the first time. Whoa. Yeah, it's close. Wow. I didn't realize how close it was.
You didn't feel that out before?
I did. It didn't look like it, though.
Damn. Yeah, because you probably land a little pressure on the pegs.
Exactly.
Even deeper.
Yeah.
Dude, you were right over.
Why did you grind early?
There's not enough room to go off of. Okay, so it's skinny. So I had to jump before how narrow it was.
Yeah.
So I was basically like having a gap to pegs it.
And
it was freaking scary.
Plus, you could go faster too.
Yeah, I needed to go fast.
Yeah.
The first time I did it, I went too slow, and I cased the curb, and I looped out, and I almost like smacked my head on the curb.
That's in the intro as well.
Yeah. Oh, so much work.
That rollout must have felt so fucking good because there's one moment where you're like, it gets a little wild.
I almost didn't, dude.
Yeah.
I was like, am I gonna be able to pull this one? And then it came around, and I was like, yes.
Yeah.
See that grate that I was landing on?
In the video part, is that slow mode?
It's just
it is,
quick,
yeah.
just a quick little.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like that. See that
thing? Yeah, right there. How many tries?
That was a little bit. It wasn't too terrible. I mean, I was probably trying it for like an hour, maybe an hour and some change. Dude, it was really hard to get over the top centered enough to do the hanger. Like, I think I did the ice all the way through one time, and then like the ice to hanger worked like pretty quick after. But this is like one of those. This is kind of like what I was talking about earlier, like a build on something that you've already done. Like, I love doing ice to hangers on kink trails. Like, I just think that's like a really cool feeling trick. It's like manual to nose, whatever. But I've never found a triple kink trail to do it on. And I always wanted to ride this, and we were there. I was like, oh, this is it. Yeah. Let's do it, you know? So, yep. NorCal again.
So sick.
Oh, dude, I was so scared.
So the one thing I didn't notice until the second time was the stopper.
Yeah, so I had to do it before that stopper.
Yeah.
I didn't
There's
take
two
off
of
the
them.
other stopper though.
You
took the other one.
No, I didn't take that. There was just no stopper right there.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, but I was like, I was at the point where like I almost jumped over because I felt like I was getting too steep. Because that ledge, it's like, it's not crazy steep, but it's steep enough to where when you're in a nose, you feel a little out of control.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I didn't jump off. Cameo.
This one's sick, dude. War 3 in the sky.
So this is the part of the video when the song's playing. You're like, is that the banger? You know, like you're like when the first time you watch it, I'm like, oh, like that was sick. Like it was fucking steep as fuck. Like, is that the banger? And then you're like, it shows you on a roof, and I'm like,
yeah.
Oh, all right. And I didn't even think so I get that emotion when I watch it, and then. First, DMC, of course. We haven't talked about DMC.
Yep.
But, dude, it's so fucking huge. Such a cool fucking setup. My favorite thing of the entire clip is, and you probably know what I'm going to do, but the
aiming for the concrete path?
Just the shockwave of these shingles.
Oh, yeah, it's pretty crazy.
And then...
Yep.
Love it.
Oh, it felt so good.
Yeah.
That setup is so sick.
Yeah.
When you find something like that, or when somebody sends that to you, or whatever the circumstances.
I found that
one.
So, backstory on that. I found that spot probably around 5 years ago.
Oh, wow.
It's very local.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh my gosh, this thing's so sick. When I found it though, that roof was made out of those like sketchy old wooden shingles.
Like like I know which ones the dark ones
the
that
dark
are like
ones that you
break
could,
apart.
You could snap. And I'm like, I tried to like get on the roof. I'm like, oh dude, this thing is not holding anything. And I'm like, in order to get a trick on this, I would have to like reply it. And like, I'm like, then it kind of takes away from it. Cause you like essentially built a landing at that point. Like kind of a little fishy. If someone sees a big sheet of plywood where you're landing, it's like, but dude, I kind of let it rest for a while. And then I drove by it over the summer and there was a new roof on it. And the whole thing had gotten like rebuilt. Like even like the structure, like the actual like structure underneath the roof was all like new plywood. So it was like solid.
No Kool-Aid guy.
Solid. So I'm like, okay, sick. Like
so sick.
Like I have this in mind, you know? And dude, it was weird. Cause I noticed that it was dialed in the summertime. I kind of didn't really forget about it, but it just wasn't on my mind anymore. And we started getting close to the end and I was like, shoot, like, you know, I'm like a month or two out from finishing this part and I don't really have something that I really want to use as an ender.
Yeah.
And for me, like, I'm like, it doesn't necessarily need to be the hardest trick, but I want the spot to look really cool. And I want it to like have some sort of impact when you look at it. It doesn't have to be like, you know, like I said, I didn't add another bar spin or another this or that. It was like, I just want the spot to look cool.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So
I mean, I do think that as far as our era of bike riding, I think you are one of the most like prolific video part riders. You know, I think it's seriously, I mean, you know, you could Skirbo, Martinez, like Rooftop, like there's different, not that Martinez is necessarily a different generation and it all blends together. Of course, there's overlap, but I think as far as like the guys that are, you know, you're fucking in there, whatever that list is, you know, so well, I appreciate you.
That's a huge compliment. I appreciate it. And I'm grateful that, you know, I think things are changing to where people are realizing it's like, you're not done when you're 28, bro.
Yeah.
Like you're like barely getting into like peak stage at that time. I think in general with sports, whether it's BMX or skateboarding or even like, I don't know, MMA, all that stuff. It's like, it seems like people are realizing like you're actually able to push it way longer than what was once understood. I remember growing up, like I thought 25 was like starting to be like the cutoff or 28, whatever. It's like, I still really love this. And I still feel like I have something to give in a way that, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I just feel like I still want to be involved. And if people are receiving it well, then like I'll stay in.
Yeah.
How old are you right now?
35.
Sorry for the tangent. Number 17,000.
If you made it this far, you love tangents.
Yeah.
You're right. Fair point.
If you're this far in.
You love video parts. You love tangents. You love BMX. So shout out to you guys.
You rule.